This is T Boz from TLC. You're listening to the X and Y Show. Hope you enjoy.
The opinions expressed on the X and Y Show are the sole opinions of the host. Please note, there is no intentional desire to offend any member of the listening audience. With that said, if you still feel offended, tough shit.
It's time for the X and Y Show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y Show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y Show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings. I am so glad to be back. I really am. I mean, if I can hug all the women, I would hug every last one of you. I'll shake the guy's hand, I am just so happy to be back. I needed a little break. And I've been going on strong for a little while, and I need a little break. I told you I'd come back in the bird months. Originally, I had intended on coming back September, the bird months. But I say, fuck it. I'm going to wait till October, and take a little bit more time. Because, shit, I was tired, doing a lot of things, But I'm good now. I'm good. I feel good. I feel rejuvenated, and I feel like I can fuck every woman on this planet, and that's my ultimate fantasy. I want to get a train ran on me by like 50 women back to back. That's my fantasy. Everybody got a fantasy, but anyway, I feel good. We're in the bird months. It's all today's the first. It is 30 days from Halloween. You believe that? And, I think, even though officially hurricane season is not over, it's over. Usually, if you can get to October, it's over. So we survived another 6 months, another year of hurricane season. So we're good. And I'm just now it's free willy from here. It's 30 days to Halloween. Then you turn your head. It's Thanksgiving. Then the hoop de gravy, Christmas. I love this time of year. It's starting to get cooler. It's not hot as fuck anymore. It's still hot, but it's not hot. Like ass hot. It's only like balls hot. But, hey, I'm so glad to be back. I missed you all. And let's get started with a new, I don't want to say season because I don't do seasons. But, I don't know, I guess a new page or some shit, whatever you want to call it. But this is a new episode. A lot of going on since I've been away. A lot of things has happened. COVID is still here. Vaccine and R. Kelly been convicted. R. Kelly been convicted, finally. That's what a lot of women say. Finally, he's been caught and blah, blah. So, that's a different topic in itself. I'm not going to fuck with that because I don't feel like getting crazy-ass emails. But a lot of things been going on. Jada Pinkett is in a, she said some shit like a couple of weeks ago where, basically she's not happy and that kind of thing. A lot of women were saying I'm so over her. And, it's easy to write someone off for being crazy as hell. And don't get me wrong, Jada is crazy. But it's, I say that in a loving way. She needs mental help. And I don't know, maybe she is talking to somebody, but she's talking to the wrong person, whoever it is, because they're not helping. It's obvious that Jada has a problem. A lot of people saying that she's with Will and Will got a lot of money and she should be happy. It's not all about the money. It's not all about the material things. But, I would think that, she should be happy. She got kids. Nice kids. Well, they could be said that they need a little help as well. but nothing wrong with that. But, I would like to see them get that help before it's too late. I don't want to wake up one day, and don't get me wrong, I don't know Jada from shit, but, I have compassion for people. I have empathy. I don't want to wake up one day and seeing that Jada committed suicide or accidentally overdose, or the son as well, or her daughter. Mental health is important, and I think that she should get hers addressed. That's all I'm saying. She definitely needs help. So, ease up on Jada. Jada, a lot of women saying I'm so sick of her. She's so ungrateful. That's not that per se. I just think she needs help. But anyway. So, I am going to jump right into the episode tonight. I ain't gonna bullshit because I'm just glad to be back. So I don't want to mess around with the new episode. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into it. So tonight's episode. Should you really be in a relationship before marriage? Should you really be in a relationship before marriage? Now, I answer that question because when you think about it, for those of you who listen to the show, I don't particularly believe in love. I just don't. From my perspective, it doesn't really exist. And I know a lot of you saying, are you crazy? I've been with my husband 30 years. Yeah, good for you. But just because you've been with somebody 30 years or 40 years or 50 years doesn't mean you love them. It means that you've grown into that person. You think about it. Those of you who are listening to me right now, do you really love your husband? Do you really love your wife? Sounds like a really easy question. Is he crazy? What's wrong with Roosevelt? He must be drinking. No, I'm not drinking. Not yet. It's too early. I ain't not yet. Plus, I just took a leave, so I probably won't be drinking tonight. But anyway, no, I'm not drinking. That's a legitimate question. Do you really love your husband? Do you really love your wife? Or are they just convenient for financial reasons? Or are they convenient for some good pussy, or some good dick, or just to combat loneliness? There's a lot of reasons why people get married or are, quote unquote, in a relationship. Not because they love this person. And love, like Tina said, what does it have to do with it? What does love have to do with it? And, unfortunately, you won't find out if a person really loves you, so-called love. I don't believe in that. You won't find out if they love you, unless, you fall on some bad times. So you think about ladies. I want you to think about this for a second. If you were to fall on some bad times, your husband particularly was to fall on some bad times, he loses his job, or some real fucked up times. I'm not talking about he just ripped his pants or some shit. I'm talking about some real shit. He lost his job, or he been in an accident and he's paralyzed from the waist below. That kind of thing. Some serious shit. Or he lost his eyesight. Ladies, how many of you would stay? How many of you would actually stay with your husband if something like that happens? I know a lot of you are saying, oh my God, I would stay to the end. You say the politically correct thing, but would you really? And unfortunately, we won't know until we get in that predicament. So you can say all that bullshit that you would stay, you would never leave. I love him to the death. I would never leave him. I would never leave him. I love him. But you don't know until it happens. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. If something like that happens, probably 80% of you would leave. You would haul ass, especially if you're young. Now, if you're old, and you're 60 plus or 50, late 50s and up, you probably say, fuck it. Depending on what kind of shape you're in. If you're in pretty good shape, you probably haul ass too. But it comes down to age. You might stick around. Shit, even if you're old, some women still say, no, I'm getting the fuck out of here. It's too early to be wiping somebody's ass. It's too early to be taking care of somebody like this. How many of you would stay? That's what love, that's what love's supposed to do. That's what love supposed to mean, for better or worse. That's the vows that you take. But how many of you really mean those vows? A lot of those vows are just words, and it can go the other side too. Guys, how many of you will stay if your wife can't walk anymore? If your wife, I won't say lose her job, because men are kind of. It's not unusual to see the man carrying the weight, so a lot of men that won't faze them. So I'm gonna say just your wife losing her sight or something, she can't walk anymore. Would you stay? A lot of guys say, yeah, man. What's wrong with you, Roosevelt? You asking some shit like that, man. A lot of you, just like the women, a lot of you are full of shit. If that happens, you would leave. You would. And the man is different. Man, even if you're old as hell, a lot of men would cut out, because a man could get a younger woman, if he's, depending on how financially stable he is. So a lot of men would cut out even if they're old as hell. No, I'm not wiping nobody's ass. No, I'm not taking care of nobody now. Fuck that. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I can't do this. So I don't believe in love. So if there is no true love, then why do you have to be in a relationship before you get married? And a lot of you are saying, man, you don't believe in love? No, because a lot of times, a lot of you have seen it. People get, they're lovey-dovey and shit, and they're kissing, and you think they'll never split up, and they never separate them, and they'll be together forever, and they just look like a princess and a princess and princess and a princess and all this bullshit. And then they get divorced, and I want that motherfucker dead. I want somebody to kill his ass. Fuck that bitch. Fuck her. I hope she drops and die. There's a thin line between love and hate. How could you go from loving somebody, supposedly loving them, to want to see them dead, literally, or want to see bodily harm to them if you love them. And that happens every day. You know, people get divorced and then, damn, y'all was in love a few months ago. Y'all not in love anymore? Motherfuckers just get divorces and they just break up and like it's nothing. And then a lot of times they with somebody else 6 months later or sooner. That's love. A lot of you motherfuckers are bad examples of it. That's why I don't believe in it. I don't believe that there's true love. I just believe in convenience. The love of life, the love of comfort. That's what I believe. A lot of you are married because of that you live a comfortable life. Without your husband or without your wife, you wouldn't be able to afford that house you're in. Or you wouldn't be able to buy half the shit you buy. You wouldn't be able to live in the neighborhood that you live in. You wouldn't be able to live the lifestyle that you enjoy without that other one. That's what I believe. I believe in comfort of life. I don't believe in love because I'm just going by what I see. And a lot of you motherfuckers don't look like you're not a good example of what true love is supposed to be. So I asked the question again. If you're not really in love, and half of you motherfuckers are not, let's just be honest. I know you won't say that. I know you want to admit that, especially if your wife or husband is sitting right next to you. Honey, do you love me? Yeah. Of course you're going to say yes in front of them. But, deep down, that's why I say you won't know until something happens. And then that's when it comes out. That's when the truth comes out. Like New Edition said, when it rains, that's when you find out shit. Can you stand the rain? It's all nice when it's pretty and a sunny day. But when it starts raining, can you stay? Can you stand it? And a lot of you motherfuckers can't. So since there is no really example of true love, there is no love in a marriage, then why do you have to be in a relationship? Why can't you be, if you're marrying the other person for comfort of life, just to have material shit, be able to afford shit, why do you have to be in a relationship with them? That's all I'm saying. In a lot of Middle Eastern countries, the marriages are arranged. Half them motherfuckers get married and they never seen each other. Muhammad, this is Muhammad. Nice to meet you. Let's get married. So it's and they get married. Stay together forever, 40 years, 50 years, and an arrangement. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. Never seen the motherfucker in their life. They get married. It's arranged. The parents say, hey, you got to come from a nice family. I want your daughter's nice. I want my son to marry her. So, so they get married, and it works. But on the other hand, over here in the West, we court. That's what the old folks used to say. For some of you motherfuckers in a relationship for years. That's another episode. I'm not going to talk about that tonight. Now, I talked about it briefly before, but I'm not going to talk about that tonight. But some of you court or in a relationship for years. 5, 8, 10 years. Some of you never get married, and some of you get married and then you get divorced and then you hate each other. You want to see the other person die. So all I'm saying is this. People in the Middle East, they get marriages through their families, through arrangements. And I'm not saying the marriages are perfect, but they last. In comparison to over here, people be in relationships, and they get married and it don't work. So why, I'll ask the question again. Why bother being in a relationship before you get married? A lot of you are saying, well, I got to get to know him. I got to get to know her. What do you need to know? Because even people who are so-called got to know one another, they still be in fucked up marriages. Still getting divorces. Still hate one another. And they know each other very well. So that's a bad excuse. That's a bad reason that you're using. I have to get to know her. I just can't jump into it. As people get to know one another every day, and this marriages are still fucked up. So I'm just saying, you can save a lot of time and effort if you want to get married. Now, if you two just want to fuck, that's different. I'm not talking to you two. I'm talking to people who actually want to get married, and they're in a relationship, been in a relationship with 2+ years. Why bother? Well, why just, you go out on a few dates and she cool, he cool, and fuck it, get married, I mean, what? Some of you, I've got some emails when I talked about something like this a few months ago. I was talking about love at first sight, and I don't believe in that shit. There is no love at first sight. There's lust at first sight. This girl or emailed me, Roosevelt, that's not true. My parents, they were together. They met on the first night, and they've been together for 30 years. That was true love. No, that was true lust. Your father really wanted to fuck your mother. And he went and talked to her, and he fucked her, and he ended up liking her. He said, damn, some good pussy. I'm going to keep her. She's a keeper. Let's get married tonight. That's all it was. He didn't fall in love in no fucking night. So there is no love at first sight. There is no love. So all I'm saying is, a lot of you saying, no, I disagree. If there's love, I'm like I said, I'm just going by what I see. And what I'm seeing mostly every day is fucked up. I see people getting divorced. The same people who are so-called in love, now they hate each other. Now they want to see the other person die. Not taking care of their obligations. Just not giving a fuck about the other person. This other person that just a few months ago or a couple of years ago, they was taking vows to be with this person for the rest of their lives. And now all of a sudden they hate them. They break up. 6 months later, they're fucking somebody else. That's love? No, I don't believe in love. I'm sorry. I do not believe in true love. I believe in comfort of life. And 90% of you motherfuckers that are listening to the sound of my voice, that's what you're in right now. If you're married, you're in it for the comfort of life. Don't tell me you love that other person. That's bullshit. If that other person does any little thing that really irks you, you probably divorce them. Or something happens to you, or something happens to the to the man, or something happens to the woman, more than likely the marriage is over. Now, I'm not saying everybody, and I'll give you an example. First one I can think of, for those of you who know Christopher Reeves, played Superman. He was on a horse and he got in an accident. A lot of you know he was paralyzed riding that horse. That's one of the reasons why I don't fuck with horses today. But anyway, and his wife stayed. She stayed with him for years until he, actually, I'm trying to think, did she die first? I can't remember, but damn, I can't remember, but they died kind of close to each other. I think she died for, I don't remember, but anyway, she stayed with him, to the end. So that was true love. I'll give her that. That was love, and they weren't that old, and she was attractive too. So that was old. I mean, that was love. I'll give that. There's always exception to the rule. I'm not saying that it's impossible to love, but I don't think it exists, like everyone think it does. Everybody just because you see a married couple don't mean they're in love. Do you really believe that? Or are you really that damn silly? You really believe every married person that you know is truly in love with their wife or truly in love with their husband? If you really believe that shit, then you got to be the dumbest motherfucker on the face of the planet. That is not the case. So I ask again, if there is no true love, for the most part, why bother being in a relationship? Don't give me that bullshit that you got to get to know the person and you got to see if they have good credit, and all this bullshit. And a lot of times you get to know all of this shit and you get married and it's still fucked up. So, if you like comfort, which that's what you motherfuckers get married for, comfort of life, not love. Why not just get with somebody, they seem cool, you vibe with them. Shit, get married. They do it all the time in the Middle East. They do it all the time. And I'm not saying those marriages work. I'm not saying that they're perfect. But them motherfuckers get married and they stay together for a long term. Whether it's here in the West, the Western nations, we court. We get in relationships for years sometimes and still get divorced. And then when we get divorced, we want the other person to be dead. The person that we used to love. So I ask again, for those of you who are married and listen to the sound of my voice, do you really love your husband? Do you really love your wife? And I can answer that for you. Hell no, you don't love them. You just in it for the comfort of life. You like the house you're living in. You like the financial means that you have because he or she is there. You don't love him or her. So those of you who are single, who are dating, go ahead and get married. There's no need to love because that's bullshit. Go ahead and get married. If you dig that person, go ahead and do it. Why waste time in being in a relationship? That's all I'm saying. Now, like I said, unless you just want to fuck, that's different. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about people who want to get married for the comfort of life, not love. So why wait? If you're digging a person, just get married. Fuck it. It's a 50-50 chance it won't work. It's a 50-50 chance if you court a motherfucker for 5 years, it won't work. So why waste time? Anyway, I just want you to think about that. I want the single people to think about why waste time and be in a relationship when you don't marry for love anyway. You motherfuckers don't love each other. And I want the married folks to think about, do you really love your wife? Do you really love your husband? I want you to just think about it. I already know the answer. Hell no. I'm with this motherfucker because he helped paying these bills. Shit. I'm with her because she can help me paying these bills. And she got some good pussy. Comfort of life. He got some good dick. Comfort of life, not love. Anyway, like I said, I'm happy to be back, and I am back until I'm gonna go through the holidays. Of course. This is my favorite time of year, the bird months. This is it. This is my Super Bowl season. So check me out. I got some shirt designs on my site. Check it out. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. You can find everything on my website, which is www.thexyshow.com. You can find everything there. The store. Some new designs for Halloween is in there. Some new designs for Christmas. All of that shit is in there. Check it out. And I got some people who bought some shirts that I'm going to post on my IG page a little later. So if you buy a shirt, I would definitely do that. Post you on the page as well. So make sure you do that. So, like I said, I'm glad to be back, and I will see you guys next week. But I want you always to remember that you can't have love or comfort of life without X and Y. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.